prepare to meet in the Division IIA Super Bowl. Brookiline earned their berth by blowing past the Newton North Tigers to their first ever bowl bid. Chelmsford once again proved to be king of the jungle by taming Bill Ricker to earn a return trip to the big dance. Will the Lions once again become champions, or will the Warriors win it all for the first time?
We'll find out who's going to win shortly. From Parsons Field in Brookiline, it's the Chelmsford Lions taking on the Brookiline Warriors in the Division IIA Super Bowl. Hi, everybody. Rich Levine along with Alan Platt. We get a bonus here as Brookiline, for the first time ever, is headed to the Super Bowl. Both teams coming off excellent seasons. Chelmsford 8-1-1. They are the Merrimack Valley champs. They lost to Xaverian and they tied Central Catholic, and they earned the right to be here by defeating Bill Ricker on Thanksgiving Day 61-20. Brookline at 9 up and 1 down. Their only loss coming to Walpole, and of course they had that huge Thanksgiving Day win at Newton North, the 100th battle in that rivalry, and they beat the Tigers 35-26. Now, of course, we've seen Brookiline all year, Ellen, but let's talk a little bit about the Lions of Chelmsford, one of the perennial powers in Eastern Mass.
You're right. They come out of a very difficult conference. Merrimack Valley always has good football teams, good long-standing traditional type programs. So Chelmsford is no different. They've been to postseason action last few years, like 3 out of the last 4 years. Have a very big team, and that you mentioned them before, that most of the media around here is looking at this game as a matchup between size from Chelmsford and speed from Brookline. You mentioned 61 points up against Bill Ricker on Thanksgiving Day. That's really awesome. And then they have a lot of weapons we'll talk about.
The Warriors, on the other hand, have not come out of the Sisters of the Poor, the Bay State League, one of the stronger leagues in Eastern Mass, and they've had to battle their way to get here today.
They really did. About a month ago, we were here for the Walpole game. At that time, it was a huge game. Brookline really had their heads handed to them that day, but from a better Walpole team. But things turned out well. Thanksgiving turned out to be the turning point for the whole thing. Newton North and Brookline, for the first time, were battling for a chance to come to the Super Bowl. Brookline won the big game, and here they are.
Now, of course, you mentioned Chelmsford, the perennial power, has a lot of weapons. Who can we look forward to the Lions today to do the bulk of the offensive work?
Well, of the 61 points on Thanksgiving Day, Dan Curran, the tailback, just had a hellacious day. He ran for, 325 yards, 6 touchdowns, and he was pretty much the whole show. But they also have a good quarterback who can throw the ball very well. Scott Brown threw for over 200 yards in that same game against Bill Ricker. So you can see between 325 on the ground from Curran, 200 yards in the air from Brown. That's how they got 61 points.
Brookline is not short of weapons either, as I'm sure our fans know, and we're going to highlight the two big guys right now, senior Adam Rahim and junior Jason Smith.
Well, I'll start out with Smith because he's the one everyone talks about. I was walking over from the parking lot, and a few of the Chelmsford boosters had stopped me and asked me, is Brookline really that fast? And I think that indicates the fact that even though the Merrimack Valley has some very good players, they don't have the kind of speed that Smith or Adam Rahim have. So in terms of matchups, Hank Cutting's team has to find a way to get Smith and Rahim into some open field, let them use that speed.
Now, as far as the game itself, this is a Super Bowl game, and it's the first time the Warriors have ever been to the Super Bowl since the format began back in 1972. And what kind of effect will that have on Hank Cutting's kids?
I think today it won't bother them at all, mainly because they've been through a number of pressure situations. I mentioned Walpole. They didn't pass that test too well, but they came back. They won the rest of their games convincingly, and then they won the big Thanksgiving Day games. I think they're glad to be here on the one hand, but on the other hand, they want to prove everyone wrong who's saying that this should be a mismatch with Chelmsford heavy favorite.
And now your opportunity to tell us, Alan, what you think are the keys to today's game.
Well, the keys, I think, size against speed always does matter. I think for Brookline on offense, they have to have a big play early in the game. Most notably, it probably come from either Rahim or from Smith. But if they get a big run from either one of those early, Chelmsford then is going to maybe think about how we're going to adjust our defense to stop this kind of speed.
I also look for some keys here today, and I think that the Warriors have to get over the hump emotionally early. What I mean by that, they have to find out that this is just another good football team, not the Pittsburgh Steelers they're playing here today. And if they can get through the first couple of series and get that feeling, I think they'll be in this game right down to the very end. The other thing, defensively, they've got to fly to the football because, don't kid yourselves, The Lions have maybe the best back this team will see all season or has seen all season in Dan Curran, and they also have a lot of great other athletes offensively, so they're going to have to really use their team speed on defense to try to offset the weapons the Lions bring into this game. We're going to take a break. When we come back, we'll have, of course, our coin toss, our opening lineups, and our opening kickoff. It's the Division IIA Super Bowl. The Chelmsford Lions ranked number 6 in Eastern Mass. The Brookiline Warriors ranked number 11. We'll be back with everything right after these messages.
So hopefully today I can give you a little bit of knowledge about baseball that can help you not only in baseball, but help you in your life. Oh, that's it. All right. I knew you can do it. Because lack of knowledge causes fear. Now that you got the knowledge, no more fear. Turn the knee more. Boom. There you go. Boom. But right now, my dream as a ball player started right where you at right now.
Red Sox Batting Clinics, sponsored by Cablevision of Boston and Nesson. We're taking time out for our kids.
This holiday season, the Massachusetts Coalition for the Homeless, the World Trade Center, and Cablevision are presenting a very special holiday offer. Look for an order form in your Cablevision statement for holiday cards designed and drawn by children living in family shelters in Massachusetts. 100% of the proceeds from the sale of these cards will support the programs of the Massachusetts Coalition for the Homeless. This year, join us to make your holiday greetings carry special meaning while you help those in need.
Dennis Cannoli, our umpire.
Welcome back to Parsons Field. Rich Levine along with Alan Platt and the Cablevision 21 sports crew as we get set for the kickoff in this Division IIA Super Bowl game. And there you take a look at the Lions along the far sideline. They have won the toss and elected to receive.
Not surprisingly, want to get their offense on the field as soon as possible to take advantage of some of that size up front. I want to remind you, the rights to this broadcast have been granted by the Massachusetts Interscholastic Athletic Association, representing 350 senior high schools across the Commonwealth and 160,000 boys and girls who participate annually in MIAA governed athletic competition. Any rebroadcast or republication of this programming without the written consent of the MIAA is prohibited.
Dan Curran along with Nate Lindstadt are back deep as Jason Smith has it teed up. Our producer-director today is Chris Larson. And Chris, if you can hear us, our headsets are way too loud. There you go. Jason Smith has the ball teed up at the 40, and we are just about set to get this one underway, and we are. The kick is right down the middle. This is going to be Lindstadt at about the 16-yard line. Return up the near sideline, has an opening. He's all the way out over midfield, still on his feet. And now he's finally going to be brought down inside the 35 at about the 30-yard line, so a huge return. And the Lions will take over with great field position in Brookline territory on the opening possession.
Lions did a great play on the opening kickoff. You mentioned Lindstadt doing some good running, but it was made easy by his, it wasn't really a blocking wedge, but the blocking did an excellent job.
Let's take a look at the officials today. Dennis Camella is the referee. The umpire, Phil Hoshin. George Osier, the head linesman. The field judge is Tom Brown. And Bob O'Reel is the back judge. So first and 10 for the Warriors as the ball is spotted at the 30 of Brookline. And there's the give to Curran on first down, breaking into the open. And he's inside the 5 and finally brought down from behind by Adam Rahim inside the 5 at about the 2-yard line.
I'll tell you, Rich, the work up front by the Chelmsford offensive line, that very first play was amazing. He had a huge hole. And as we mentioned, Curran, who had over 300 yards on Thanksgiving Day, took it down inside the 5.
Here's the starter. Scott Brown is your quarterback, the senior. Andy Pajak, the fullback, averages over 7 yards a carry. Curran, the last carrier, the senior tailback, recruited by just about every school in the country. Nate Lindstedt, the flanker. The give to Curran, touchdown. Boy, that looked easy. A 2-yard touchdown run by Dan Curran. And we've only played about 24 seconds. It's 6-0 Lions.
Well, 2 big plays. Obviously, the opening kickoff going deep into Brookline territory, and then the off-tackle run by Curran, and then the 2-yard touchdown run. Brookline, I'm sure at this point, is in shock, but they have to regroup to get their own offense going.
On to try the extra point is Pat Harrington out of the hole to Brian Therian. The snap, the boot, it's down, it's up, and it is good. 7-0 Chelmsford. And that took a total of 2 offensive plays from scrimmage and 1 kickoff return.
Well, coming into the game, we mentioned the fact Chelmsford had a lot of weapons. In the Merrimack Valley Conference this year, they were 8-0-1, and we really have to repeat, they scored 61 points on Thanksgiving Day. That was no fluke. Curran, obviously the main weapon, but watching this replay, see the touchdown, simple off-tackle play again. Curran doesn't have to do a whole lot because no one touches him until he's into the end zone. So now Brookiline, like I said, I think more than anything emotionally has to regroup from being stunned like that so quickly within the first minute of play. We have fans still filing in here, and it's already 7-0.
There's some people, I'm sure, out on the street that heard the roar of the crowd, and they probably picked up their pace a bit trying to get in here to find out what happened.
Well, it's ironic, too, because we talked in the open about the speed of Brookiline. It turns out that the speed for Chelmsford on their kickoff return set them up in really good shape.
Lindstadt has averaged over 35 yards a catch this year. Every time he touches the ball, he's their flanker. And he had the big kickoff return from the 16 all the way down to the Brookiline 30. 2 runs by Curran at 7-0 Lions. Scott Brown, the quarterback, will kick off. And back deep, Jason Smith, flanked by Adam Rahim and Darnell Ward. So let's see what the Warriors can do offensively. As Brown kicks it away, and this is going to be a short kick, Ward at about the 15. Return up the far sideline, has a little bit of room, breaking away at the 40. He's at midfield, and he's over midfield into Lion territory. So the Warriors will start out with great field position at about the 48 of Chelmsford.
Well, it is a Super Bowl game, and, you know, you asked me in the open about pressure. I'll tell you, these kids seem like they're ready to play, obviously, from the opening kickoff. Darnell Ward.
And we've got a penalty on Brookiline.
I mentioned Darnell Ward was sick most of the week, so he's actually only in the starting lineup on defense. Did a good job on that kickoff return, but we won't see him much on offense today unless he actually feels better.
Dennis Camoli, the referee. Let's see if we get the indication. Offsides against Brookiline. Offsides.
Against Brookiline?
Somebody was lined up beyond the 10-yard neutral zone, so Chelmsford will move the football out to the 45 and be able to kick off once again.
Okay, Brookiline has to be behind the 10-yard. Well, in this point, they have to be behind their own 45-yard line. See David Frazier going on.
So Brown will get to tee it up again. And wouldn't it be something if Mr. Smith took one back for a touchdown?
That'd be nice. Unusual cause. You hardly ever see an offside on the offensive receiving team. But
so Brown is going to squib one this time. And this is going to be Ward again at about the 20. Trying to find some running room. And he's going to be hammered out over the 25 near the 27. So that 5-yard penalty cost the Warriors about 25 yards in field position. Let's take a look at the lineup for the Warriors. Ryan Chamberlain, the senior quarterback. Steady influence all year long. Adam Rahim is your fullback, the senior, who's had an outstanding year. Jason Smith, the junior, with over 1,350 yards and 17 touchdowns. Hal Gardy, the flanker, has great speed himself. And Kenyatta Gomez is the split end. So trailing 7-0 here early in quarter number 1. The Warriors will have the football for the first time from the line of scrimmage. First and 10, the ball spotted at the 28-yard line. The pitch to Smith trying to get to the outside. And he's going to be hemmed in and brought down for virtually no gain, maybe a loss of 1. Good play defensively. Casey Finnegan, the left tackle, number 57, up to contain the play.
Yeah, good job. Linebackers for Chelmsford was able to string the play out and force Smith to just slow down and try to find a seam.
Here's the guys up front. Darnell Ward is the tight end. Howard Langham, the left tackle. Malcolm Wynn is the left guard, just a sophomore. Brendan McGillick, the senior center. Zev Winkleman is the right guard. And Noah Brown, the right tackle. 2nd and 10 after no gain on first down. They give it to Rahim right up the middle. And he's got good yardage and close to a first down out near the 40-yard line. And he'll have a Brookiline first down.
You know, one thing about the Brookiline offensive scheme and blocking, we noticed on Thanksgiving Day against the bigger Newton North front line, Hank Cutting had his team doing a lot of angle blocking, and I think we're going to see some more of that today against Chelmsford.
Let's take a look at the Chelmsford Lions up front. David Fielding is the left end. Casey Finnegan, the left tackle. Bob Dewey is the nose guard. He's a senior. Michael Cato, the coach's son, is the right tackle. And the right end is Nick Brink. First and 10 right at their own 40-yard line now out of the I formation. Chamberlain on the delay. This is Smith trying to break to the outside over the 45, and he's out near the 47 or 48. Good gain on first down for Jason Smith. It'll bring up second and short. The rest of the Lions defensively, they go with a 5-2. The linebackers, the right side linebacker, Wachowski. Kimmig is the left side linebacker. And then the secondary, Gillette at left corner. Curran is the free safety. Mike Johnson is the strong safety. And Holiday, the right cornerback. Second and 3 at their own 47 now as Smith comes in motion. And let's see what's going to be with that play, as there was a mix-up on the snap. McGillick got the ball back, but a flag is down.
It's going to be a procedure foul, penalty on Brookline. Actually, McGill did a good job get the ball back.
So like you mentioned, instead of second and 3, it's going to be second and 8.
There did seem to be a mix-up on the snap count.
Great crowd on hand, and it's still filing in. As somewhere in the neighborhood of 5,000 fans expected on a sun-splashed Saturday afternoon in December. Second and 8 now. Chelmsford crowding the line of scrimmage. Chamberlain working on a long count. Now he wants to throw. Quick pass in the flat. Bounces up to Hal Gardy. Incomplete. It'll be 3rd and 8.
You mentioned good crowd. Walter Sargent, the athletic director for Brookline High, who's actually the event coordinator for this, said that I think Parsons Field holds around 5,700 seated, but of course they'll let some standees come in today if that's necessary.
So it's a big 3rd down now here for Brookline. They trail 7-0 with 7:56 left in the opening quarter. They have the football at their own 43-yard line. Chamberlain, quick drop, throws out to Gardy, and he's tackled immediately, and he's not going to get the first down. Defensively making the stop was John Holiday,
about a yard
the right
short.
corner.
Actually, almost 2 yards short.
And I think they're going to have to punt the football away here, trailing by 7. As Hal Gardy will drop back in punt formation. Nate Lindstedt going back in single safety. So 10 men up near the line of scrimmage. Let's see if the Lions come after Hal Gardy here on 4th down and 2. Good snap. Gardy takes his time, gets a good high kickoff. Raheen down there. It's taken a bounce for Chelmsford, and Frazier's finally going to down it out near the 30-yard line. So Chelmsford gets the football back with 7:09 left here in the first quarter, leading 7-0.
We saw Chelmsford come out with those quick strikes, both the kickoff and the big gainer on first down. We'll see if Brookline's defense can settle in. The plays up front for Brookline are going to be key, obviously, to try to stop that off-tackle action for Dan Curran.
Curran, 2 carries and 30 yards. First and 10 at their own 30. And here's a play fake. Brown to throw on first down, out to Lindstedt. Shakes one tackle across midfield. And now David Frazier finally brings him down inside the 40-yard line.
You mentioned that Lindstedt has an amazing average per catch, and you can see why. He did a good job to get away from Jason Smith playing one-on-one in the corner that time. To watch this replay, it all starts out with a nice play fake. That holds the linebackers now. Smith's out there one-on-one. You see the receiver makes a nice little juke there and adds another 15, 16 yards to the catch.
They get the chain set. Lions wanted to hurry up to the line of scrimmage, but they get sent back to their huddle. So first and 10 for Chelmsford. Now at the Brookline 40-yard line. Andy Pajak, the fullback, the lead blocker. Curran the carry on first down, breaking tackles, and he's finally brought down by Damon Stroud, but should have another first down. And it is a first down for the Lions at the 29 of Brookline. Just inside the 29.
Yeah, at the point of attack, which people like to talk about all the time, the action between the front line of Chelmsford and Brookline's, so far, it's very good for Chelmsford and awful for Brookline. None of the down linemen for Brookline have been in on a tackle yet.
Gillette split wide to the left. They hand off to Curran on the counter, and he's brought down. David Frazier with the stop on first and 10, a gain of about 4, maybe 5.
Okay, Noah Brown.
Let's take a look at the big guys up front for the Lions offensively, the starters. Brian McCray is the left tackle. He's a senior. These guys average 230 across the front. Gonzalez is a senior at left guard. Tim Mills is the center, also a senior. Casey Finnegan, the right guard, a junior. Mike Cato, the coach's son, at right tackle, also a junior. Second down and 6. Brown's going to keep it himself, and he's going to be brought down. Nice tackle. David Frazier, very active in this first quarter, and he makes another tackle right there. It's going to bring up 3rd and short, I do believe.
Looked like a quarterback draw, design play.
Brown has 9 touchdown runs on the air. He's thrown for 11, so we know he can run the football. Tyrone Deal starts at left end defensively. Sergei Fed-Union at left tackle. Noah Brown is the right tackle. And on the quarterback keeper, I don't know if Brown was able to get the first down. He was shoved back. Let's see where they're going to give him forward progress, and they might have to measure this. Nope, they've got a first down. So he just got the first down.
Ball is on about the Brookline 16-yard line.
So first and 10 now at the Brookline 16 with Chelmsford leading 7-0. Curran cuts up the middle, has a huge hole, touchdown. Dan Curran made it look easy, 16 yards. It's 13-0 Lions.
And it's more of the same. It's not like Chelmsford's doing anything different. They come out with a very basic offense going between the tackles. You talked about Curran in the open, Rich, saying that he very well may be the best running back that Brookline's seen all season. And off these opening 2 offensive series for Chelmsford, we're seeing indications that that's very much true. And he does have good moves, but he hasn't really had to use them yet. He has straight ahead blocking, gets good room up front.
Here's Harrington for the extra point out of the hold of Therian. The boot is down, it's up, and it is good. 14-0 in favor of Chelmsford with 4:42 left here in the first quarter.
One of the things we've seen Brookline able to do all year, Rich, is adjust to situations. Now, the only start of a game that would maybe mirror this would be the Walpole game, and they really got beaten badly in that one. But in other games where they've had tough situations, we've seen them make adjustments defensively. Now, what I've noticed in these first 2 drives, both McGillick and Frazier, as the inside linebackers, are playing pretty deep. I think that one of the things that they may want to look at is bringing them a little closer to the line of scrimmage. Watch the replay of the touchdown. You'll see what I'm talking about. Simple off-tackle play. By the time Curran gets the ball, he's wide open. No one touches him on that play at all, actually, until he gets to the end zone. But even more so, the other few plays that he's run inside the tackles, they're getting good push. You talked about McCray, the big tackle for Chelsea. He's 270, and like you mentioned, the offensive line average is 230 pounds, and that's good size for high school.
So Brown has it teed up. It's 14-0 here in the first quarter in favor of Chelmsford. Scott Brown has it teed up. Smith, Ward, and Raheem back deep, and he's going to squib it again. It goes through the hands of Mark Perrant, and it goes out of bounds along the far sideline at about the 25 or 24-yard line. So Brookline will start off in reasonable field position. Their second possession of this football game as Hank Cutting looks on, trying to find some answers.
Well, I think at this point, the main thing he wants to see is his team stay together. He doesn't want to see his team, blaming each other for any kind of mishaps, because clearly they're against a very talented Chelmsford team. But again, Brookline has the weapons to get themselves back in it, but they have to execute as they've done all season.
So it's first down and 10 at the 24-yard line. As they send twin receivers to the right side, Gardy and Gomez wide to the right. Chelmsford again crowding the line of scrimmage. Chamberlain working on a long count. Wants to throw, and he throws it way behind Kenyatta Gomez.
Incomplete, was intended for Gomez.
And I'm not sure if he ran the wrong pattern or if Chamberlain threw the wrong pattern, but either way, a mix-up.
Definitely
It'll
a mix-up.
be second and 10.
Unfortunately, Cal Gardy ran across the middle, and Curran, who's playing the deep free safety, did not come up. Gardy was wide open. Just mentioning Ryan Chamberlain's father came by to see us at the truck before the game. Today's Chamberlain's birthday, Ryan, and I think it may be a tough game for him looking at the way things are started out, because now I think Chamberlain's feeling some pressure to get the passing game going.
Second down and 10. Our producer, director Chris Larson, felt the Warriors needed to get some kind of a short passing game going, and they've been ineffective at it so far. That's Gardy in motion. Chamberlain on the delay to Smith, trying to bounce to the outside, and he'll get out over the 25, but only a gain of 2, perhaps 3, will bring up third down.
See, one of the problems with the passing game is that if you don't complete a couple of passes, the draw plays will not be as effective, because Chelmsford is going to play Brookline for the run, knowing that that's where the main weapons are. Watching the replay, it's a delay handoff here to Smith. Now, during the season, we've seen Smith able to bounce outside, but Chelmsford, very aware of Brookline's speed, is cutting off the outside corners, making Smith go back inside.
Third down and 8 at the 26. Sam Troy now into the lineup, split wide to the left. Big third down for the Warriors, trailing 14-0 here in the first quarter as they send Smith in motion. Chamberlain throws the flanker screen. This is Gardy trying to cut it up, still on his feet, and he's going to have a first down with a great second effort out near the 40-yard line before Curran. Dan Curran comes up with Michael Gillette to bring him down.
Big play by Hal Gardy. You mentioned second effort, and I think as the game progresses, we'll see how big that play was. Brookline, quite frankly, is back on their heels right now, and to be able to convert a third and long, especially on a passing play. Watch Gardy. Now, right here, he gets hit first. He doesn't have the first down right there. Second effort, twisting and turning, gets that first down.
So first down and 10 for Brookline at their own 39. Here's the delay to Raheem, and he's going to be wrapped up. Bob Dewey, the nose guard, number 51, a senior at 6 foot 215, able to bring down Raheem before he got ahead of steam up.
Okay, now I mentioned on the Chelmsford offense that their offensive line is able to just dominate Brookline defensively. Now, what's happening on Chelmsford's defensive line, they're also being able to get good penetration, so the misdirection, which takes a split second to develop, is simply not there for Brookline as yet.
No gain, second and 10. Brookline's faced a lot of second and long situations already here in the first quarter. The give to Smith, trying to pick his way, cutting back to the near side, and he couldn't break away from the tackle of Mike Johnson. He did get 4 or 5. If he breaks out of that shoestring tackle, he's off down the sideline and maybe in the end zone.
That's the point, Rich. Now, let me say, I've been getting on the Brookline offensive line so far. Watch this replay. This is the first time they gave Jason Smith a little bit of running room. But again, good football players in that Chelmsford defense. Watch Smith cut back right there, gets away from his first tackler. Is brought down by Johnson, the safety.
Third down and 6 now from their own 44-yard line. Big third down for the Warriors, trailing by 2 touchdowns. Again, Chamberlain working on a long count. Straight drop, throws complete to Troy, and he's got the first down. Sam Troy with the catch, the senior, is in Lion territory down to the 45-yard line.
An excellent throw by Chamberlain. As bad as one of those early throws he had was, that's just how good that one was. And again, a key play for Brookline. Not what we expected from them, but a sustained drive is going to help them in a couple of ways. If they can get any points out of it, obviously it'll get them back in the game, but more importantly, it'll keep Chelmsford's offense off the field. Watch Chamberlain, 3-step drop, nice gun right to Troy.
So now the Warriors, for the first time in the ball game, in Chelmsford territory, 1st and 10 at the 46, and they're going to go with fake reverse. Smith still with it, up the near sideline, and he gets maybe 3 or 4. They fake the reverse to Gardy, the play that we've seen a number of times for Brookline this season, and Smith kept it.
It was a key play in the Thanksgiving Day game, scoring the first touchdown for Brookline when he handed off to Gotti on the reverse. Obviously, Chelmsford seen it because Chelmsford did have the tape of the Thanksgiving game. But I think that later in the game, we will see that same play with the handoff take place.
Planting a little seed here early in the first quarter. We're inside of a minute remaining, 40 seconds with the clock running. 2nd and 7 at the 42 of Chelmsford. Backs in the eye behind Chamberlain. They give to Raheem, and he's hit right at the line of scrimmage, falls forward for about 2. It'll bring up 3rd down. That may have been the final play of the first quarter, as the clock is winding down with 20 seconds left. So let's see if the Warriors are in any hurry to get a playoff before the end of quarter number 1. Under 10 seconds in the clock running. And that will be the final play of the opening quarter. So we'll step away for a moment. There's Bob Kraft, the Patriot owner, a Brookline alum. He's on hand. Right now, Chelmsford on top at the end of 1 quarter, 14-0. We'll be right back.
The Golden Splendor Cultural Center is an adult daycare program that will provide 6 youth the opportunity to interact with 20 seniors in Boston's inner city. We envision a holistic approach to the care and support of seniors from all races, ethnicities, and linguistic backgrounds. Our center needs your continued support, and we'd like to thank those who participated in our recent golf fundraising event. For more information, please contact Bertha Flight.
INDEPREP es un programa educacional dirigido a estudiantes afroamericanos y latinos con deseos y motivación para superarse. La meta de INDEPREP es ayudar a estos estudiantes a mejorar en áreas como la matemática y la lectura para salir bien en el examen de entrada a escuelas independientes y ayudarlos en el proceso de admisión y de solicitud de becas. INDEPREP trabaja con los estudiantes y orienta a sus padres sobre la manera de ayudar a sus hijos a dar el máximo académicamente.
We're back here at Parsons Field. I remind you that high school sports provide an extension of the classroom where students learn to pursue excellence, value of working with others toward a common goal, and playing within the structure of established rules.
3rd down and 5 at the 41 of Chelmsford. Big 3rd down for the Warriors. They're trailing by 2 touchdowns on the first play of quarter number 2. Chamberlain rolling to his left, throws out there, incomplete. Had Raheem open and overthrew him just slightly. And the Warriors are going to have to punt the football away.
Tough break for Brookline.
Also looked like Ryan could have ran for it.
Well, he had some room to run, but the play opened up so well with Raheem sliding out from the backfield. If that pass could have been completed, it would have not only been a 1st down, but it could have been a very big play for the Brookline offense. But I think that, as I mentioned before, Brookline is settling into the game a little bit. They really have to do a much better job, obviously, defensively. And let's see, after they punt this ball, if they've made any adjustments for the second quarter.
Nate Lindstedt back deep at about the 10-yard line as Hale Gardy will punt it away from near midfield. 4th down and 5. Good snap. And Gardy gets a good high kickoff. Lindstedt's going to get away from it. Last time it took a lion bounce. And again, Brookline not getting any roll out of it, but they'll down it at about the 15, maybe the 16-yard line. So Chelmsford finally will start out with some poor field position, but up to this point, Brookline's defense hasn't found a way to stop the Lions.
Well, I'll tell you, Rich, I think at this point, this is a very key series, more for Brookline than for Chelmsford. Obviously, Chelmsford being ahead 14, nothing's feeling pretty good, but if they can get something going here, then Brookline may be in some deep trouble. Defensively, I'm looking for the linebackers for Brookline to get a little closer to the line of scrimmage to maybe help out on some of this off-tackle plays by Curran.
1st and 10 now. As they give it to Curran, no, the fake, and Brown wants to throw long. Smith out there with Lindstedt, incomplete. And great coverage by Jason Smith, step for step with Nate Lindstedt. And let's be realistic, there's no way anybody gets behind Jason Smith unless he just misses the play.
Well, I'll tell you what's interesting. Now, Lindstedt clearly is the big receiver, but Smith had him one-on-one. He's had him one-on-one most of the game. That big play made in the first quarter after he got away from Smith getting the catch. maybe that's a challenge for Jason Smith to just be at that left cornerback, and if Lindstedt comes out there, he has him one-on-one. Watch the replay. Another play fake is the quarterback, really good job faking, just throws it out there thinking that Lindstedt can run under it.
Back to the live action. Curran has a big hole off the left side, and he's got close to first down yardage. Let's see where they're going to spot the football, right at about the 25. That's going to bring up third down and about 1.
Good one-on-one tackle by Donnell Ward. As we mentioned, Ward being a little under the weather. I did notice him playing tight end in that last offensive series for Brookline, so I think maybe the adrenaline has at least temporarily cured him to get in the game.
Well, he was sick all week, and that's the reason they started Damon Stroud, the sophomore, at tight end offensively, but I expect he'll play an awful lot both sides of the football before this one is through. Third down, about 1.5 yards for the Lions. Brown, the quarterback keeper, and he's going to have the first down as he just picks his way out near the 30-yard line.
Okay, Sergey Fedunian did a good job that time to make the tackle. Unfortunately, a good surge that time, again, by the offensive line for Chelmsford to give him that first down.
Brookline needs to find a way, Allen, to contain this team offensively or perhaps come up with a big play and cause a turnover.
They just sent Zev Winkleman in to play on the defensive line.
First and 10. Nate Brink in motion. They give to Curran, and he's finally going to be bottled up and brought down. And he maybe got one that time, but great pursuit.
Well,
and
David
that's what Brookline
Frazier
has to do.
David Frazier that time, maybe it was because of the back in motion for Chelmsford. That may have been a key for Brookline's defense because Frazier stepped toward the line of scrimmage right before the snap. Watch this replay. It's the first time, as you mentioned, they've been able to bottle up this offense for Chelmsford. And there you see it. Langham, Frazier, bunch of the Brookline defenders.
It's 2nd and 9. Usually it's been about 2nd and 1 so far in this first half for the Lions. But it's 2nd and 9 right here at their own 31. Again, Brink in motion. Again, the give to Curran, trying to pick his way, breaking tackles. And he's brought down after a short gain. Darnell Ward teaming up along with some help from, I believe that was Brendan McGillick.
They have an injured Warrior on the play.
Somebody down for Brookline.
We talked about Curran. Looks like Brendan McGillick, the inside linebacker, very valuable player for Brookline.
Actually, that's Sergey Fedunian, number 71.
Watching the replay, again, Curran, good running instincts to get himself into the secondary, but Ward, his second one-on-one tackle. As I was saying before, high school sports provide an extension of the classroom where students learn to pursue excellence, the value of working with others toward a common goal, playing within the structure of established rules, discipline, loyalty, and emotional control. The MIAA urges you to demonstrate your support for these values and for our young people by attending high school competition in your community. And I guess, Rich, today's an excellent example of that with the Super Bowl games going on all across the state. Right here at Parsons Field, the 2A version with Brookline and Chelmsford.
Curran so far in the football game, Allen, 8 carries, 74 yards, and 2 touchdowns. That's about 9 yards a crack.
Well, like I said, Brookline clearly is in shock, and it started with that. There you see Sergio on your screen. Has played well this year, a senior defensive tackle.
He really has.
Brookline, like I said, just was totally in shock after that kickoff return to start things off, and then from there, the first play from scrimmage, about a 30-yard gain for Curran, and all the things that coming into the game, Brookline knew they wanted to prevent happened in the first 2 plays. That makes it tough for you to get into the game right away.
It's going to bring up a 3rd down and 6 for Chelmsford, but right now Sergey Fedunian still being looked at.
To show your support, you can drop toys off in the collection boxes.
And now that's good to see as he is on his feet.
Oh yeah, anytime a player can get up on his own, it's good, but you see him really heavily limping off. Injury to that right leg.
There's a look at the Warrior sideline. They need a spark. They need a big play, Alan, something to get them back in the game.
You know, you mentioned that a couple of plays ago, and you're right. It could come from the defense as well as the offense. And the way Chelmsford's playing, they're playing very basic football. But I think once Chelmsford decides to go more toward their passing game, that's where we may see Brookline create a break for themselves.
And right now it's 3rd down and 6 for the Lions as Hank Cutting looking for his defense to force Chelmsford into a punting situation for the first time in this opening half. 3rd down and 6. The lone setback is Pajak as Brown wants to throw, being pressured, rolls, throws up the middle to Lindstedt, complete for the first down. Frazier with the stop.
The penalty back mark on the backfield.
A flag upfield back behind the line of scrimmage, and it's going to be holding against the Lions.
Yeah, when Brown rolled out to his right, one of the Brookiline interior linemen with putting some pressure on him, looked like he was pulled down. I'm not sure if we can see on the replay. Let's watch Brown. Scott Brown, good arm on the quarterback. Now, when he's rolling out, it's a little off the screen there, but there was a hold took place right behind him.
Nice throw by Brown, though, right on the money. Very impressive. He's got a strong arm. Again, 11 touchdown passes for 6', 180-pound senior Scott Brown, the Lion quarterback.
It's interesting what Chelmsford's done so far on their passing plays. They take Curran out of the game, out of the tailback spot, and just have Pajak as a blocking fullback.
They bring in Gillette, number 38. And again, Pajak the lone setback. 3rd and 16 now. Big play defensively for Brookiline. Brown wants to throw, trying to find Lindstedt. Complete along the near sideline, 1st down. Jason Smith slipped a bit trying to make the cut. That left Lindstedt open, who makes the catch, and he gets the 1st down on 3rd and 16.
Well, what's more impressive is it was a timing play as much as anything else, because the ball was in the air before Lindstedt actually made his last cut. You see on the replay, Scott Brown. Now, he's putting the ball in the air. Now, Lindstedt's just making his cut right now. Like you mentioned, Smith has slipped before that. But again, good execution, because you have a deep, anytime you're throwing a deep square out for a 1st down, you have a good eye on your quarterback.
1st and 10 now at the 49 of Brookiline with 8:02 left in the first half. Brink in motion. The give to Curran right up the middle, and he just surges forward for about 4 yards down to the 45. On the bottom of the pile, number 50, Zev Winkleman.
Okay, Brookline is doing a little better job inside. You see Malcolm Wynn, number 65, who plays on offense mainly. He's in there for Fed Union after the injury.
Wynn just a sophomore. They're going to need him to come up big, as they need to kind of plug a few leaks along that defensive front.
Well, he has some good size. That may help on that right side.
Gain of 4 brings up 2nd and 6. Again, Brink in motion. And Brown rolling to his left, wants to throw. Tyrone Deal gives him pressure to Lindstedt. Complete, fumbles the football, or is that incomplete?
Incomplete
All right,
pass.
Incomplete pass. Good hit by Kenyatta Gomez to knock the ball loose.
They have holding again against Chelmsford.
And Brookiline now starting to get some pressure.
Okay, so blocking the back, actually. Again, in the Chelmsford pass protection, when Brown rolls out, that's when we've had these 2 infractions. But again, the pass is right on the money. There's a block in the back right there on Tyrone Deal.
That's right, number 57. Casey Finnegan pushed Deal. And let's see what Brookiline wants to do.
Oh, from the point of the foul, you have to. They have to walk this one off.
Dennis Camoli, the referee, will give us the signal. Illegal block. And they will move them back, so the ball will be spotted back at the 43 now. They need the Brookiline 39 or so for the 1st down. There's Sergey Fed Union. He's got some ice on that right leg. 2nd and 18. They give to Curran, and he breaks free to the near sideline. Look at the speed on Curran as he's finally pushed out of bounds by Smith and has a 1st down and a lot more.
But again, the key to the whole play, he's able to break the line of scrimmage clean without being touched. And once you get into the secondary, Brookiline on that 2nd and long play has the pass defenders playing so deep, it takes them a while to get up. And like you said, he has excellent speed to get to the sideline. Watch what happens. He breaks the line of scrimmage right there. No one's touched him. Now, once he's in the secondary, you have wide receivers blocking for him, and then he turns the corner.
He's 25 yards downfield before anybody laid a hand on him. 1st and 10 now at the Brookiline 30. 7:06 left in the first half. It's 14-0 Chelmsford, and the Lions on the march. The play fake. Brown to throw. He's got a man complete. That's his tight end, David Fielding, who's belted down but not before he gets another first down for the Lions.
Yeah, Brookline's playing a little too much on their heels at this point. They're backing up on every play. The tight end that time just had a simple tight end release across the middle. Half roll to the right by Brown opens up the right side, then the tight end makes a nice catch. Good hit by Ward, but Brookline has to make some tackles much closer to the line of scrimmage.
Either that or they also, on those pass plays, they got to get next to the receiver. He makes that hit when the ball arrives. It's no completion. Instead, he hit him just after he makes the catch. And now Brown wants a timeout. I don't know if he has enough men on the field.
I'll tell you that timeout.
He has
actually
10 players on the field, and he knew it.
Oh, you're not saying what's ironic about it. Brookline had 10 also. Kenyatta Gomez was confused about whether he should come in or go out. He ended up coming out. Brookline ended up with also 10, so it would have been 10 on 10. But Brown knows that he didn't have his 11th player on offense, so he took the timeout. But Brookline at this point is reeling. I think I'm going back a couple of plays now to that 3rd and 16 when they're able to complete that deep down-out pattern. That's emotionally for Chelmsford. It lets them know that the stuff they've been using against everyone else in the Merrimack Valley can also work here. And for Brookline, they're used to getting teams in those 3rd and longs and making them punt.
Brookline trailing by 2 touchdowns, and the Lions at the 11-yard line with a 1st and 10. Brookline just has yet to be able to come up with any answers defensively.
Not yet. They were starting to do a little better in the interior defense, but those last couple of plays is back to what happened in the first quarter.
So now both teams have 11 up at the line of scrimmage. And it's 1st and 10 for the Lions as they go to a power backfield with Brink now split next to Pajak. The give off the right side to Brink. And he's not going to get much. He does maybe get to a yard or so, maybe down to about the 10, maybe to the 9. To bring up 2nd down.
Tyrone Deal and Kenyatta Gomez. Good job that time. A little misdirection that time by Chelmsford. But quite frankly, they really don't need it. The simple off-tackle stuff with Curran has worked so well.
And now they're going to blow this play dead. Illegal procedure, the call against Chelmsford. So that'll march them back 5. 5:59 left in the first half. If Brookline could somehow find a way to keep them out of the end zone on this series, it might give them enough of a lift to at least get emotionally back in this football game.
Well, there have been a couple of big plays already in the first half, and I think for Brookline, not converting that 3rd down that was open is a big play for them. But right now, defensively, they have a job to do trying to keep, like you said, these Lions out of the end zone.
2nd down and 12, back at the 13 after the 5-yard penalty. Brown's going to keep it himself. Got some room inside the 5 at the goal line.
Fumble.
Touchdown fumble. Wait a minute. He lost the football. Who's got it? And I believe Chelmsford came up with it. The ball was loose, and there was a big opportunity for Brookline, but one of the Lions, it might have been Brink who came up with it, number 5. Boy, what a momentum shift that might have been.
That's the kind of break Brookline would have needed because Brown did an excellent job on the quarterback draw, scooted to the outside and was fighting to get into the end zone, lost the football around the 2.
Ball spotted just inside the 2 near the 1-yard line. It's 3rd down and about a foot. They give to Curran. Keeps his leg driving, and he might have lost yardage. Defensively, Tyrone Deal, Zev Winkleman, David Frazier, Brendan McGillick, all there to make the stop. And I don't think he got the first down. It's an easy call here for Tom Cato.
Let's watch the replay. First, one of the few times today we've seen Brookline's front line able to do the job. Initial hit, who's that? Frazier.
So 4th down and about the length of a football. Brown's done the quarterback sneak, does it again, and he's get jammed up. I don't know if he got it. I think they may have held.
Brookline stopped him.
And they did.
Now you talk about a momentum swing on that fumble that Brookline didn't get. This is even better because you've actually earned this. 2 plays, Chelmsford couldn't get a yard. Now, of course, it has Brookiline stuck in the shadow of their own end zone, but at this point, with 4.5 minutes to go in the half, you're down 2 touchdowns already. You really have had nothing going on offense. You're just glad to get the football back.
Nice time for a 99-yard touchdown run, don't you think?
Anybody. Or a pass, for that matter.
Still 4.5 minutes left in this first half, and Brookiline, with a big defensive series right there, gets the football back at their own 2-yard line. Let's see if they can get some breathing room. They give to Smith, and he battles his way out near the 5, close to the 6-yard line, so he gets a couple on first down.
Good job. Up front, McGillick and Malcolm Wynn opened a little bit of a seam that time for Jason Smith. And we talk about Smith's speed all the time, but we've seen all season, you don't gain 1,400 yards just going outside.
If Brookiline were to score here before the half,
the whole thing turns around. Definitely.
Everything in this game would change psychologically, because Chelmsford has dominated to this point. But if Brookiline scores and the half were to come to a close, it would be a 7-point football game, and Chelmsford would walk into the locker room wondering what happened. But, of course, first of all, Brookiline needs a first down here, backed up near their own goal line. 2nd and 6 at their own 6. Chamberlain again working on a long count. Pitches back to Smith. He's going to throw it. Has a man. That's Carty. Incomplete. A little bit short, and he short-hopped it.
Haven't seen that much this year, but it was wide open.
It was wide open.
Because with Smith getting that quick pitch, that's one of the pet plays to get Jason Smith some running room all season. That time he was able to pull back and threw from the end zone, just didn't have enough on it. Gotti, as you mentioned, it split between the cornerback and the safety, was open. It came up a little short.
So now it's...
I like that call, though. I like that call from inside your own 10.
3rd down and 6 with 3:38 left in the first half. Brookiline needs a first down, or they're going to be punting out of their own end zone. And again, they trail at 14-0 here late in the second quarter. Ryan Chamberlain taking a look at the line defense. Here's the draw. This is Smith, and he's not going to get anything. Didn't fool the Lions. And Brookiline will be forced to punt out of their own end zone.
Yeah, Brookline is just not responding to the fact that clearly Chelmsford is keying on Smith, so it doesn't matter where he goes. You're not going to have a play fake at that part of the field to get Smith the ball on a delay.
So now Hal Gardy will have to punt out of his own end zone. And Nate Lindstad standing at about the 40-yard line of Brookiline. So let's see if the Lions come after him here. Good snap. And Gardy gets a pretty decent kickoff. Lindstad's going to come up and field it at about the 35. Trying to get to the far sideline. Still on his feet. Still on his feet. He's inside the 10. At the 5, and they could not bring him down. And finally, Gomez tackles him inside the 5-yard line.
All you can say is his strong running, excellent leg strength, as Lindstad, like you said, just kept taking on hits, but kept his legs churning, used good speed also to get inside the 5. See, the point you made earlier, Rich, in the open is what's happening here. Brookiline just simply has not seen a football team this good all season. They've had some tough games, but they've not seen a complete team with every aspect of play excellent for Chelmsford.
So now it's first down and goal at the 2-yard line. And they go with the full house backfield again with Brink split right next to the fullback Pajak. First down for Brown. He's going to give it to Curran. He's going to be met, and he's not going to get in. Down to about the 1.
McGillick, Wynn, Langham. But again, the Warriors at this time are still fighting the tide right now, because their inability to stop Chelmsford's big plays. They've now had a big pass play, a big kickoff return, a big punt return, big runs from scrimmage.
2nd and goal, just inside the 2-yard line. Same formation. Brown's going to give it to Curran again. Touchdown. He slipped into the end zone. It's 20-0 Chelmsford with 2:01 left in the first half.
There's just no way you can keep giving an offensive team like Chelmsford such good field position. As you mentioned, during the first half, they've only started once with what you call bad field position. 3rd touchdown for Curran.
And that drive ended with the miss on 4th down. at the 1-yard line of Brookline. Harrington on for the extra point. Pat Harrington out of the hole to Brian Therian. The kick is up, and it's dead center. 21-0 Lions with 2:01 left in the first half.
Not much for the Brookline faithful to cheer about yet. But again, I think that one of the keys with Hank Cutting and the way he operates his coaching staff all season has been keep the players in the game. I think, this is most definitely their toughest test. You see Curran again, touchdown number 3. Good description to slide in there because the initial player was probably supposed to go to the left. He was able to work his way back toward the right to get into the end zone.
Big article in yesterday's Boston Globe about Curran, and he's being recruited by Boston College, Syracuse, Notre Dame, you name it. Name a big-time Division 1A program, and they are all talking to this young man.
Well,
Coach Cato told me that in his 33 years of coaching, this is the most dedicated player he's ever had. And he told me before the game that he's had some awful good players and some hard workers, but he's never had anybody as dedicated. And one of his training methods would be for his brother to get in a car, take it, put it in neutral, and he would get behind it and push it going uphill.
That's leg strength.
You got that right.
Today.
On the kickoff, this will be Gardy at about the 30. Gardy trying to reverse his field, trying to get to the outside, still on his feet, getting to the near sideline. He's at midfield, and finally Brown comes up to make the saving tackle as Hal Gardy had a head of speed. But Brookline, with no flags down, will have great field position at the Chelmsford 48.
Well, we have 1:51 to go before halftime. Brookline has to keep their heads up. One of the few things for Brookline faithful to cheer about, but you're right. Excellent position right now inside the 50-yard line.
So first and 10 at the 48 of the Lions. Quick count this time. Raheem trying to find some running room, and he'll squirt up to about the 45. Down to the 45. It'll bring up second down, clock running, minute 40 left in the first half. And let's see if Brookline wants to try and hurry things up a bit.
Second down for Brookline on the Chelmsford 45.
See Donnell Ward going back in at tight end.
Second and 8. Chamberlain to throw. Good protection. Now he tries to dump it off, incomplete. He got belted just as he let it go by Dewey, the nose guard. And it was a little bit behind Raheem. It'll be third down. Give the Lions credit because they have disrupted this Warrior offense.
They really have, and they've not only that, they've just about covered everything. The only thing that was really wide open was that halfback option pass from the end zone that Smith threw a few plays ago, and other than that, they've had pretty much everything else covered up.
The Warriors in this first half have got away from running on first and second down, and they found themselves in this situation, 3rd and 8 an awful lot. Chamberlain to throw. Incomplete, way over the head of Hal Gardy. John Holliday on the coverage, and a punting situation for Brookline.
Well, if the passing game can't get going for Brookline, this Ryan Chamberlain, I know he's very frustrated, but if the passing game can't get going, they're going to be in deep trouble because the running game clearly has been stopped and, like we said, covered.
Right now, they got to tackle Nate Lindstedt as he's back deep to receive this punt. They couldn't bring him down on the last one as Gardy will punt. He's had a busy day today in the punting department. Gets a pretty good kickoff. And Lindstedt's going to let it go, and this one's going to be down inside the 5-yard line by Adam Raheem at about the 2. So they finally got the bounce. And they'll have the Lions backed up with 1:01 left in the first half, all the way back to their own 1-yard line. Actually, the 2 is where they're going to spot the football. Chelmsford, along with Lowell, Billerica, Central Catholic, Haverhill, and Merrimack Valley, a stacked conference with some real powers.
First down for Chelmsford inside their 5, about their 2-yard line.
First and 10 now. Again, 1:01 left in the first half. It's 21-0 Chelmsford. The give to the fullback, Pajak. And he's going to get maybe one. Let's see if Brookiline will use some timeouts.
Here, sure.
And they do. No, the clock's still running.
They try to call it.
And now they finally give it to him with 50 seconds left in the half. So they let about 5 seconds
a little more,
go off.
That's what happens when you're starting to put your head down a little bit, down 3 touchdowns. You're not as alert. The coaches were calling for the timeout, like you said, about 5-6 seconds ago. If Chelmsford is going to take Curran, like that was their passing formation, because they took Curran out of the backfield. They just had Pajak as the single back, as a fullback. If they're going to try to just punch it out like that, Brookiline can try to take advantage by stopping them there and making them punt from deep in the end zone. There's the Brookiline Warrior. We saw him on Thanksgiving.
Let's see if we can listen in on the Brookiline huddle. So the Warriors, they'd love to stuff them and make them punt.
That's the key thing.
And see if they could get some good field position. Who knows? Maybe a blocked punt even. Jump on it in the end zone for a quick 7.
See, one of the problems with Brookline's defense so far, they've not been able to stop the very basic plays. So if Walpole, if Chelmsford has any special kind of plays now that Curran's back in, they can try one of those to get a first down.
2nd and 11. He may have lost a yard on first down. And to throw, Brown incomplete, in and out of the hands of the fullback Pajak. And it stops the clock with 46 seconds remaining in the half.
I think he was throwing to the wide receiver. I think he was throwing to Lindstad, and Pajak, who was also in the pattern, got his hand on it, but looked like Lindstad was set to catch the ball.
Hit him right in the hand. So it'll bring up 3rd down and 11. And if I'm not mistaken, Chelmsford has yet to punt in this first half. They have converted every 3rd down that they faced with, except the one time where Brookiline held them deep in Brookiline territory. So Scott Brown, faced with 3rd and 11, wants to throw, has a man wide open, incomplete. He had Brink, his tight end, wide open at about the 15.
It was all about the play fake.
Behind him.
He had a really excellent play fake to Curran, and like you said, Brink snuck out. The linebacker on that side, it may have been Frazier, actually just didn't. He went for the fake, basically the run fake, did not fall back into coverage, and like you said, Brink was wide. First bad pass we've seen Brown throw today.
Well, it's about time. 43 seconds left in the half, and Smith and Darnell Ward, 2 guys capable of bringing it back the distance, are going to be standing back at about their own 45-yard line, and Brown is backed up 1 yard shy of the back of his end zone. You can see him right there, backed up on 4th and long. And now we have a flag.
They'll usually lose a yard for delay of game. A procedure.
Procedure the call. Of course, the clock was stopped because of the incompletion. So now they'll move him another yard back down to the 1. Let's see where he's going to spot that football down.
That actually could be key because, as you mentioned, the puncher's only a yard away from Brown's, only a yard away from the back of the end zone.
If he gets a bad snap and Brown has to step back, it's a safety. Brown right at the back of his own end zone on 4th down. Gets a kickoff, line drive, and Ward's going to field it at his 40. Trying to find some blocking. And he's going to be brought down at about the 32 with 32 seconds left in the first half. So the Warriors will still have some opportunities here to try to get on the board before halftime.
Well, they have at least a couple of timeouts left. As you mentioned, they're in a good position. Going back to that rollout by Chamberlain looking for Raheem, coming across the middle was really wide open.
I wouldn't mind seeing them try to run up the middle. They did it successfully on that one series, and then they haven't gone back to it since then. They have a few timeouts. 1st and 10 for the Warriors, and Chamberlain drops the throw, looking over the middle. Pressure. Now he's going to tuck it and run. Loses the football. Let's see who's got it.
I think Brookline got it back.
Clock winding down.
Yeah, I think Malcolm Wing got in there.
And they better use a timeout. And Brookline did recover it. And now they burn a timeout with 16 seconds left, and he was just running open and lost the football.
Well, the problem was he still had it in his hand in a throwing position. If he needs to tuck it in. Watch on the replay, you'll see Chamberlain for the first time does try to get some room, but he still has the ball out there. See, he needs to tuck it in right there. Once he's past the line of scrimmage, you got to tuck it in to protect yourself.
So he ends up getting about 6. 16 seconds left in the first half. And it would be huge for Brookiline to get 7 points on the board before halftime. They will get the football to begin half number 2, but they trail by 3 touchdowns here. 2nd and 4 at their own 23, 16 seconds left in the half. Ward along with Gardy wide to the left, Gomez wide to the right. Backs are Raheem and Smith. Blitz. Chamberlain sacked back at the 30-yard line. They came after him and got him. Clock winding with under 10 seconds left. I don't know if Brookiline has any timeouts left. And they finally burn it with 5 seconds remaining as they stop the clock. The ball spotted all the way back at the 30-yard line, the original line of scrimmage.
You see Chamberlain talking to the offensive coordinator for Brookiline. Was a blitz but even more than that, they got good penetration up the middle. You see him get hit low.
Michael Cato, number 77, the coach's son. That might have been a nice time to call that flanker screen.
Well, either that or the rollout. You have to let Chamberlain feel like he's going to be able to get a chance to get the ball off. And the kind of pressure the Chelmsford's been able to put on him so far in most of his attempts is just throwing off his timing completely.
5 seconds left in the half, so more than likely this will be the final play of half number 1. Ball spotted all the way back at the 30-yard line. And now flags go down. Dead ball, illegal procedure against Brookiline, and I have no idea for what.
They had an illegal formation. One of the receivers was in the wrong position. Let's go to shotgun formation now.
Chamberlain out of the shotgun, back at the 34 now as he sends Smith in motion. Bad snap, and he picks it up back over midfield, and he's going to be brought down, and that's the end of the half. And that last series right there was a little microcosm of the entire first half for Brookiline. They'll head to the locker room, and we'll take a break. It was all Lions in half number 1 as they lead it at halftime by the score of 21-0.
Recovering from chemical dependency is tough enough without insurance problems. Let's face it, the early recovery process is a struggle, and unfortunately, many insurance companies just make it harder. The folks at Plans Anonymous Association can help. They've been there, they know recovery, and they know insurance. They're a non-profit membership organization dedicated to removing obstacles on the road to recovery. Give them a call, it's confidential, and the call is free.
For the Love of Life is the first in the nation wish-granting foundation for people and their families living with the AIDS virus, meeting the human side of this pandemic.
I know that we all share the same feelings about this uninvited plague called AIDS. And we've all been personally touched. Granting the wishes of others is a beautiful thought to reflect on tonight.
We can't stop the giving. We can't stop the caring. First,
Welcome back to Parsons Field. There you see our halftime scores. We get ready for quarter number 3. Rich Levine along with Alan Platt and the Cablevision 21 Sports crew. Let's run down our scoring summary. A quick one. 3 quick touchdowns, really. First quarter with 24 seconds gone by. Dan Kern, a 2-yard touchdown run, extra point good. 7-0 Chelmsford. 4:42 of quarter number 1. Curran had a 16-yard touchdown run. it was 14-0 Chelmsford. And then Curran again at 2:01 of the second quarter, a 2-yard touchdown run. 21-0 Chelmsford with the lead at halftime. Halftime statistics bear out the kind of dominance that Chelmsford had in the first half. Brookline with a number of losses late in the first half, last couple of plays ending with 20 yards as a team. Jason Smith finished with 23 yards on 6 carries. Ryan Chamberlain, 3 of 7 through the air for 29 yards, only 3 first downs for Brookline. Chelmsford, 125 yards rushing. Curran had 107, 3 touchdowns on 13 carries. Scott Brown, 3 of 6 for 76 yards. Lindstedt, 2 catches for 57 yards, 8 first downs for the Lions. Time of possession, Brookline actually had it for 11:32. Chelmsford for 10:28. And the Warriors get it first here in the second half, Alan, and they need to find a way to get their skilled position players, their speed guys, into the open field against this tough Chelmsford defense.
Well, that's always the case. Anytime you're behind, you have to go to your big weapons. And when you think back to the first half, we were talking during the break that there were 2 plays that Brookline during the season probably would have been able to break for a long game. As Hal Gotti did a good job on the return, and then Jason Smith was maybe 1 tackle away from getting to the sideline. It's the type of thing where you really can't get too far away. You see Jason Smith on your screen. You can't get too far away from what's brought you here. And I know that they didn't have much success running up the middle, but they probably have to go back to that to see if they can get any kind of miles out of there. They have to put the pressure back on the front line to try to create a little bit of space, some seams for both Raheem and for Jason Smith.
So Ward and Raheem are standing at about the 10. Smith back at the goal line as Scott Brown will tee it up. And we get set to begin our second half. 22 minutes of football left in the season for Brookline. They trail by 3 touchdowns. Let's see if the Warriors can come back and make a football game out of this. Brown is going to kick it deep. Raheem mishandles the football, picks it up at about the 15, trying to find some running room, and he's going to be brought down at about the 22-yard line. Brad Gould, number 41, makes the stop, and Brookline will have it 1st and 10 at about their own 21.5-yard line. And that's been the case for most of this football game, Alan, as the Warriors haven't had much field position, not very good field position at least.
They really haven't. But again, I go back to the keys we talked about before the game. In my mind, they just have to break off a big play. And it doesn't really matter who it is, just to get themselves emotionally back into it.
Power backfield with David Frazier, the sophomore, inserted. This is what we saw Thanksgiving Day. 1st and 10 for Brookline. They give to Jason Smith, and he's going to be brought down for a loss. Tracked down by Bob Dewey, the nose guard 51, who's been in the backfield this entire game.
Well, again, the penetration up the middle, what that does, no matter what you're trying to do in the backfield, if the middle of your offensive line is not keeping people out of there, in that case, Jason got actually tackled from behind because he's looking ahead for some running room. And like you said, the nose tackle got in there. He was able to throw him for a 2-yard loss.
2nd and 12 back at the 20-yard line, just inside the 20. And again, Chelmsford crowding the line of scrimmage to give to Raheem, and he's stacked up and going no place. So it's going to bring up 3rd down and long. Well, the Warriors are trying to do what we talked about just before the kickoff, and that is run the football. But 2 carries have resulted in a net loss of 1 yard, so it's 3rd and 11. And they have yet to be able to really throw the ball effectively, or at least with any consistency in this game. They put Frazier in the slot to the right side on 3rd and 11. Kenyatta Gomez split wide to the left out of your picture. And now in motion, that's Frazier. Here's the pitch to Smith, trying to pick his way, trying to get to the outside, and he's going to be hemmed in and brought down for another loss inside the 20. And a punting situation for the Warriors.
It's more of the same here in the second half, and they did try to go up the middle. Let's watch this pitch, and it's just totally out of sync also. It's not a smooth pitch. You'll see after the long count, Frazier's in motion, and the pitch gets there a little behind Smith. But again, the pursuit, and we talked about speed on Brookiline. I think we really underestimated the speed that this Chelmsford team has. They clearly have a bigger team, but they also have some speed to go with it.
Gardy to punt it away. Lindstedt back deep. Gardy gets a good high kick. And Lindstedt's going to get away from it as Raheem is with it, and the ball's going to continue to take a pretty good roll for Brookline as it'll roll dead at about the 40-yard line, where Chelmsford will have it for the first time in the second half. So about a 41-yard kick by Hal Gardy and no return, and I know Hank Cutting will take that every time, but right now he needs to get his offense in gear.
Trying to find some answers, and I think that the offense being ineffective is one piece of it, but at this point, being down 3 touchdowns, it's early in the second half, and either special teams or defense is going to have a big play to help the offense out, because the offense is just sputtering the entire game so far.
First and 10 at their own 40, and they go to a passing formation. Pajak the lone setback. Brown to throw on first down, rolling to his right. Still looking, now he throws incomplete. If they're gonna, there's no way that's a catch. It bounced on the turf. We'll have a replay, and that ball bounced. You can see it from up here. He trapped it, and they're gonna rule that a catch, and that's a terrible call.
Yeah, they're gonna give him a 7-yard gainer. You're right, it did bounce. Because
there's no question that ball bounced.
It was actually thrown short because Winkleman was putting some pressure on Brown. Let's watch the replay. You'll see Brown roll left. He'll get some late pressure from Winkleman. And as he lets the ball go.
You know, we don't have it, but trust us, it did bounce. Brown bouncing to the outside on second down, skips out of bounds along the far sideline and should have a first down. Well, it's the way things have gone. Nothing has gone Brookline's way here in the football game, so why should they get a call? Let's see where they're going to spot the football. I just don't understand how that many officials can miss a ball that clearly bounced a foot in front of the receiver.
Well, that's going to be close enough to trying to measure it now. But again, getting back to the overall problem for Brookline, they have to figure out a way not only to stop this Chelmsford offense, but to take some chances. We've seen them in the past when they're behind, try to blitz. They've even tried a cornerback blitz at some point. And one thing that Chelmsford does, they pretty much tip you off when they're going to throw the football. They take Curran out of the backfield. They have Pajak as a blocking back. Now what they do, Scott Brown, the quarterback, is a good runner. He has some skills going.
He got the first down, by the way.
And so I think that's the only thing that may stop you from wanting to blitz up the middle, because he does have the ability to escape.
Curran this time the lone setback on first and 10 at the 49 of Brookline. Brown again wants to throw. Being pressured. Flag is down. Yeah. Brown's going to throw long. Out there, Fielding makes the catch, and he's down at about the 1-yard line, but I believe they're going to bring this one back. Misplayed defensively in the secondary by Brookline, but it's holding against Chelmsford. You called it right when the flag went down.
Yeah, there was holding. You could see it. The referee was right there, and he was watching. The one thing about what Brown does when he rolls out, he rolls so deep in his own backfield that it makes it sort of tough for his linemen to try to hold on to keep a block going. I'm not sure if you can see it, but when Brown's rolling out, he buys some time. Does a good job. He's going to roll right here. Get some pressure. Watch the hole's right there, pushing the back, actually. But still on the run, and then Ward just fell down.
So the ball comes all the way back to about the 41. That's first and 20 now. And again, the defense having Chelmsford backed up due to a penalty with first and long or second and long. They need to come up with a stop here. 7:40 clock running here in the third quarter. They trail by 3 touchdowns. Brink in motion to the near side. Now this is Brown on a design play to keep it along the far sideline, and he's only going to get maybe one as Brookline defends that play very well and bottled him up.
Good job stringing it out that time. Tyrone Deal got out there. Jason Smith came up from the corner. Noah Brown over this. It's good. Brookline just has to stay in the game. They have to keep their heads up. Cannot put your head down. I mean, that play, the pass play was called back, and we have not seen Brookline's defensive backs make a poor play like that all season, but those are the kinds of things that can get you to doubt yourself. They have to stay away from that.
Loss of about 2, 2nd down and 22 back at their own 39. Again, Brink in motion to the near side. This time they will give it to Curran, who's got huge hole. He's over midfield, still on his feet, and finally brought down by Jason Smith after a gain of about 17.
And again, the slant plays for Chelmsford just wide open. The left tackle, Brian McCray, 6'2", 270, simply sealed off the entire side. Watch the replay, and again, we've said it a number of times, he does not get touched till it's deep into the Brookline secondary. Coming from behind to make the first hit was Raheem, but as the linebacker, you have to make that stop close to the line of scrimmage.
3rd down and 4 at the 43, and they're going to come with the reverse to Lindstedt, who wants to throw to Brown. He's open, makes the catch at the 30 and a 1st down, so there's a little trickery. First time we've seen that today, and they get a big play and another 1st down.
Had a reverse with Lindstedt coming from the right wide receiver spot, took the reverse, and Brown snuck out of the backfield down the left sideline, and like you said, it's wide open, and it's a good pass by Lindstedt. The flow of the play goes to the right. Lindstedt comes back to the left, looking like a reverse. Now he pulls up, and Brown is wide open. Just floats it out there for him.
1st and 10 now at the 30 of Brookline. 6:15 left in the 3rd quarter. Brink in motion to the far side. They give to Curran, another huge hole. He breaks into the open, down inside the 10. Look at the speed, touchdown. There's the 4.5 40 speed of Dan Curran, 30 yards. His 4th touchdown of the day, 27-0 Lions.
Well, I'll tell you, the one thing that Brookline fans and players did not expect is to be outrun. And that's a situation like you called it during the play. Look at the speed as Curran takes another simple slant play and turns it into a 30-yard touchdown.
152 yards on 15 carries and 4 touchdowns for Mr. Curran. And I'll put in a plea right now. Go to my alma mater, young man. Please go to Syracuse. This kid is terrific. And now we have flags before the extra point, but he is as good as advertised and certainly the best back we have seen this season. Of course, on the other hand, he hasn't been touched most plays until he's 10 yards past the line of scrimmage, if at all.
Well, if that's how they've been running the ball most of the season, I'm not sure. I can't imagine how they lost the game, but they had a loss and a tie this season. Brian McCray, who actually helped on that touchdown, was called for procedure on the extra point.
Now, Chelmsford's been penalized quite a bit despite their dominance in this game. And if Brookline was playing a little bit better, they might have a chance to be in this football game, but they've been outplayed in every phase, and now the long extra point is up.
It's no good.
And it's no good. So the score remains 27-0. And we still have over 6 minutes left here in the 3rd quarter.
Let's watch this replay, and again, there's not a whole lot you can say about it. He breaks the line of scrimmage, is not touched. And like I said, like you said,
he actually Gomez and Ward. He ran in between them and split him with that speed.
And the key thing about it, once he split them, he had enough momentum that even though he was hit around the 5-yard line, he was going to be able to carry them into the end zone. This is the same thing we were saying about Raheem and Smith on Thanksgiving. This is similar to what they did to Newton North, and now the Brookline team is having it done to them by a very powerful Chelmsford squad.
Tom Cato, 2-3 in Super Bowls. This is the 6th trip in his 33 years as you look at Scott Brown teeing the football up.
Brown will pick off the Chelmsford. That deep for Brookline is Jason Smith.
Jason Smith back deep. I'd like to see Mr. Smith get a chance to handle one of these and get up ahead of steam as Brown again is just going to squib it. And Raheem having trouble. That's a free football. Picks it up at about the 10. Trying to get up the near sideline and returns it out over the 20 to about the 21. You can see the frustration at the end of that play as Adam Raheem just kind of threw the ball to the turf.
Well, Chelmsford's doing a good job with the way they're kicking the ball. They're not allowing a free catch or a clean catch, so the running backs for Brookline have no chance to get ahead of steam or look for any blocking. They're just trying to cover the ball first and get whatever they can.
Ball spotted at the 21, so again, Brookiline starting out in poor field position. Well, at least the weather's been great.
Oh, wonderful day.
Absolutely gorgeous day for football.
If it gives December.
Just has not turned out to be a good day for Brookiline, not to this point. First and 10, they trail 27-0 here with 6 minutes left in the third quarter. Chamberlain wants to throw, pressured. Still on his feet, and now he's going to be hammered at about the 24-yard line. And he comes up with a little bit of a limp, but he's all right. Tough day for that young man.
Tough birthday.
Yeah, tough birthday is right.
Birthday, but I didn't think he was expecting to have this happen. Watching the replay, just doesn't have time. As the pocket breaks down, he decides to take off and try to get something out of it. Right now, he doesn't have a chance to look downfield. He's going to need to go down a little quicker than that.
Gets about 4, second down and 6, and here's the pitch to Smith, trying the left side, has some blocking, able to get to the corner, and he's going to be close to a first down before he's shoved out of bounds at about the 30-yard line. So he'll be about a yard shy of the first down. It's one of the few times they've actually gotten Smith to the corner.
Well, again, use the wide side of the field going to the left. Now it's on the right side. Those are the kind of things you have to do. You just keep plugging, giving Smith and Raheem the ball and hoping they can break one.
Third down, about 2 yards to go.
So 3rd and 2, we'll call it. And this is the give. This is Smith, and he's got the first down. Excuse me, Frazier. And they give it to him on the inside handoff, and a good run for David Frazier and a first down for the Warriors.
And the key to the play that time was Smith being a decoy. Jason, there was a fake pitch to Jason on the exact same play. This time they came back. Watch, you'll see Chamberlain fake the pitch to Smith. He goes off to the left, and back inside comes Frazier. It's a good job holding on to the football, getting the first down.
Ball spotted at the 39, first and 10 Warriors, under 5 minutes left here in the third quarter. Again, they go with the power backfield with Frazier split next to Raheem. Here's the pitch, and Smith wants to throw. Smith now is going to tuck the football, trying to get to the near sideline. And he can't break away from fielding, as he'll get a couple. And those are the kind of plays we've seen this year where the play's designed to go one way, Smith breaks it back another, and he's been able to get up the sideline, but not the case here today against the line defense.
He was actually trying to throw that one, but I think Gotti went too deep too soon, because by the time Smith had set up to try to throw the ball, I think he realized Gotti was far too deep downfield. Watch the pitch. It's an option pass for Smith. He's looking to throw, but I think Gotti's already down too far right now. Now he has a chance to make something out of it, but again, can't break this last tackle to get away for a big gain.
And the give to Raheem on second down, as he gets out over the 45, and he might have stepped right out of his shoe, and he did. Somebody had him by the shoe, and he said, well, I'll leave that behind and keep going. So Adam Raheem's going to have to come to the sideline, and number 30, Mark Parent, will be into the lineup as Adam has to put his shoe back on. It'll be 3rd down and 4, and a big 3rd down for the Warriors. And again, to this point, you have to give the Lions credit, especially their defense. They have been outstanding in this game. They give to Smith right up the gut, and he powers forward for the first down. And there's the play up the middle in the surge where the pile just got pushed, and then Jason falls forward for the first down. He gets about 5 on the play.
It's one of the few times we've seen Brookline get a good surge up front. And again, you're right, Rich. By having straight-ahead zone blocking, it's a lot easier for your undersized offensive lines to do an effective job. And, of course, Smith is powering in behind him, looking for the first down.
Raheem back in next to Frazier, first and 10, just shy of midfield, and Smith gets the call and powers ahead for a couple of more, 2, perhaps 3, as he is into Lion territory as we approach 2.5 minutes remaining here in the third quarter. But what do you think? Plano, Texas, they had that 41-17 game that the highlights were on ESPN this week. They scored onside kick, scored onside kick, scored onside kick. You think
problem was when they finally kicked it off, the kid brought it back for a touchdown.
That's right, and they lost anyway. But that was an unbelievable game. 2nd down and 7 now in Lion territory. And again, Chamberlain working on a long count, and the give to Raheem, and he's wrapped up and stopped and then pushed back. Smith up to 36 yards on 12 carries, but they have done a great job of bottling up the terrific junior Jason Smith. Keith Kinney, number 33, was the man who wrapped him up and held him up until his friends could get there to bring him down.
Problem here is that Chelmsford's just disregarding the Brookiline passing game. If you notice that last play, they had 9 players within 2 yards of the line of scrimmage. They're just disregarding Brookline's passing game totally.
Here's the pitch. Smith's going to try the right side. Good blocking, and he's not going to get there. Good defensive play for the Lions.
Let's try that one again.
They unstack him. Kinney along with Brink at the bottom of the pile, and Brink was the guy who made the play. Nick Brink, the right end.
Got what, about 4th and 2?
4th and about 3. Maybe 2.5.
Let's try the same pitch and let him chase Jason.
Certainly no reason not to go for it here, with 57 seconds left in the 3rd quarter and the clock running. So 4th down and 2 for Brookline, and they'll go for it at the 42 of Chelmsford. Same play, flag is down. Smith has the sideline, and he should have a first down, but there's a flag down downfield at about the 33-yard line.
Looks like offside on defense. It's one of our officials up here in the booth is figuring things out as they're developing.
And it is, so either way, it's a first down. He got the first down on the run.
Yeah. The cornerback, you know, what's happening is on the 3rd down plays, apparently the Chelmsford cornerbacks are coming up close to the line of scrimmage, and he must have lost his bearings of where he was. And
somebody was lined up in the neutral zone, so I think Brookline will probably take the penalty. And they have a first down, as the ball will be spotted at about the 37-yard line, just shy of the 37.
The left side of the Chelmsford line actually was offside in the neutral zone, trying to get a jump on the snap.
1st and 10 for the Warriors at the 37 of the Lions. And again, they go to the power backfield. Pitch to Smith along the near sideline. Cuts up and makes a nice cut to make John Holliday miss him completely. And he'll get about 5 or 6. Holliday coming up to make a big hit, and Smith was there one moment and gone the next.
Well, we're seeing, okay, that option, that was a little bit of a risky play because of the way that Chelmsford's making penetration. Chamberlain did a good job to get that pitch to Smith. You run that play again, you want that pitch to get there a little quicker so Smith can get it in stride, but at least we've shown Chelmsford something different.
And that's the end of the 3rd quarter. As the clock runs out, we'll take a break. We'll come back with our final quarter of football in this 1994 season, the Division IIA Super Bowl. There's your score. We'll be back with more after this.
Are you totally obsessed with your weight, diet, or exercise? Then let us help. We are the Massachusetts Eating Disorder Association, offering a variety of services for men and women. Our professional support groups include help for anorexia, bulimia, and compulsive overeating. We are conveniently located on the Green Line at 1162 Beacon Street in Brookline. If your mood is based solely on the number on a scale, then call 738-MEDA now for more information. You'll be glad you did.
Heart to Heart Associates, a nonprofit organization, trains people to improve their own quality of life by expanding into their full potential while using modern medical technology. Participating in our own health care by making decisions, researching options, and changing to a healthier lifestyle improves our quality of life. Join us now. Help others help themselves.
Thank you.
And welcome back. Rich Levine along with Alan Platt, the Cablevision 21 Sports crew. Brookline trying to find a way to give their fans something to cheer about. And there's the marching band for Chelmsford. There's Hank Cutting. I know one thing. Hank Cutting, after this game, if you talk to him, will say the same thing he said after Thanksgiving, before Thanksgiving. He's got a great group of kids. It's been a great year. This game does not really matter in the final analysis. And looking back, this is still the best season Brookline's ever had in football.
Oh, sure. First time ever to the Super Bowl. That says it all right there.
So second down now and 5 at the 33 of Chelmsford. And that's Frazier in motion to the near side. They give to Raheem, and he's going to be driven back as he was hit, decided to change direction, and actually lost the bundle. Driven back, and again, the man we've been calling all day, number 51, Bob Ducey, 77, Michael Cato.
And Fielding.
And also Fielding, David Fielding in on the play.
And again, I think I mentioned in the first quarter, it all goes back to the penetration that they're getting in the beginning of the plays. Watching the replay, Chelmsford's surge is destroying any attempted blocking by Brookline. That's the line of scrimmage. They're behind the line of scrimmage, like you said.
And actually, Fielding was the one who wrapped him up, and he started running in the wrong direction. So third down now and 7. Unbalanced line as Chamberlain goes on a long count. Wants to throw, play fake. Lays one up there, and it's going to be well short of everybody. Threw a dead quail up there that died about 5 yards short of the receiver. And now it's fourth down and 7, and the Warriors will go for it.
Yeah, the passing game just hasn't been effective, and that's been given Chelmsford a major advantage. Now, I mean, since the first quarter, when it was clear that Brookline was not going to be much of a threat throwing the ball, they've been able to key on both Raheem and Smith to the point where, like I said, in some of the plays, they actually just disregarded the passing.
So fourth down and 7, and Smith fumbles the pitch. And regardless of whether Chelmsford recovers, actually Smith got it back, but the Lions will take over the football. Jason Smith, I think, more upset than hurt on that play.
Yeah, the level of frustration is very high for the entire Brookline team. Smith has got to be upset because he had a little bit of running room, but again, if you don't pull the ball in, you're not going anywhere. There's a clean pitch and just didn't corral it.
Mr. Dewey right there once again. So Chelmsford, with 10:03 left in the football game, takes over at the 40-yard line. And they give to Curran, and he's hit and stood up after about a 4-yard gain.
There's Robe Sully.
Robe Sully, number 34, in defensively for Brookline. Pretty good stick.
One of the few we've seen from the Brookline defense.
Second and 6. Anthony Ayud split wide to the right out of your screen. They give to Curran, and he's brought down from behind by Noah Brown. Nice play by Brown, and it's too bad they couldn't have had that back in the opening quarter.
Well, Brown at that point he did the same thing we saw Chelmsford do earlier. He was able to penetrate and actually get Curran back down from behind.
He lost about 4. I think that's the first time he's been brought down for any significant loss in this game.
Let's watch Noah Brown. He's going to come across the line of scrimmage right there, unblocked, and is able to chase him down from the backside.
So third down now and 9, back at the 41-yard line. And Brown wants to throw, sets, fires, complete, first down to Gillette into Brookline territory. Just that simple.
Well, that was a perfect example of execution by Chelmsford. Brown got back fully confident. As soon as he set himself to let the ball go, and like you said, Gillette ran a good enough pattern that as he was into his break, the ball's in the air. He actually made a nice catch, too, because it wasn't as on target as we've seen some of Brown's other throws, but that time just beat the cornerback.
Interestingly enough, the two coaches in this game, Hank Cutting and Tom Cato, very good friends. Very, very good friends. We'll talk about that more in a minute. That's Brink in motion on first and 10. They give to Curran, and he's knocked off his feet. Looked like he might slip through there and break into the open. He'll get about 3 or 4 on first down. He'll bring up second down, but getting back to Cato and Cutting, two men have known each other a long time, and Coach Cato told me, he said, you can quote me on this. It was a terrible thing, he thought, what happened over at Catholic Memorial with Parkinson's disease and whatnot, and Hank's health failing, and he kind of got forced out of Catholic Memorial. He said Catholic Memorial's loss is Brookline's gain, and that's been fairly obvious in the 3 years Hank has been with the Warriors. First and 10 is Curran off the left side, breaking tackles down the far sideline.
We have a clip.
And a foot race.
Yeah, we have a clip.
Flag is down. He's into the end zone. His fifth of the day.
Yeah.
And we got another illegal block that'll probably bring this one back.
The reason I jumped in there on that because it was that illegal block that allowed Curran to get to the sideline and get down. It was actually Donnell Ward who was going for the tackle and was pushed in the back.
Some of the Lions fans not pleased with the call.
Well, actually, they probably couldn't see it because from the way the watching the replay, you'll see Ward. It's going right there. That's a combination.
Actually, I think it was two Lions who.
That was a combination of a block in the back, a clip, whatever you want to call it. But that's actually what gave Curran the sideline to go the distance. And I think a lot of the, you mentioned the Lions fans, a lot of them probably could not see that because of the Lions players standing up on the sideline.
On the sideline, you're right. 7:37 left in the football game. 2nd and 5 now at the 44 Brookline. Ayud split wide to the right. This is Brink in motion to the near side. Again, Curran gets the call. He tries to hurdle the line of scrimmage and gets a couple as he was able to hurdle Tyrone Deal and gets maybe 3. It looks like he might have hurt his right hand a little bit the way he came down.
Well, he's not used to being hit today, so the few times they've had shots at him, and it has been few. Well, it's interesting because you talk about the Thanksgiving Day game. He had over 300 yards, 6 touchdowns, and this is just a continuation of that. This is
5 on the ground, 1. Right. He returned a kickoff, 94 yards for a touchdown. 3rd down and 3 right here for the Lions. And the give this time to the fullback, Pajak, and he's not going to go anywhere. Good defense by the Warriors.
That was McGillick.
That time they ganged up on the fullback. It'll be 4th down.
McGillick, Deal. Watch this replay. You'll see McGillick and Deal get in here to get Pajak, the fullback. There's Deal right there. McGillick comes in.
Deal actually grabbed him from behind and just kind of hog-tied him. Wouldn't let go. So 4th down and 3. And it looks like Brown will punt the football away.
He needs one more play at first.
And he gets him as Curran now comes on at the last moment. Smith and Ward are back deep. And now actually they're -2 players. And now we're going to get a flag probably for delay a game against Chelmsford. He would have had 8 players blocking initially. Curran comes on, and then just running into your picture at the very last moment was Matt Dion, number 94. So again, Ward and Smith are back deep. This time they're at about the 20 as Brown will punt it away along the far sideline, and Gardy needs to get away from the football and does, and it's going to be down inside the 5, down near the 1-yard line where Fielding downs it. And that's where Brookline will have it 1st and 10.
The kicking game for Chelmsford, the few times they've had to kick on the kickoffs, they've done a good job by not allowing Brookline's getting returns, and the punt, even when they punted from the end zone.
You know, I've got to alert our producer director, Chris Larson, not only has it been a tough day for the football team, but if he gets a cameraman along the bench, there's a cheerleader that's got ice on the ankle. That's how tough a day it's been for Brookline. I'm sure he can find a shot somewhere. She's right along the Brookline sideline, just to the, there you see her. Look, that's the kind of day it's been, Alan. Even the cheerleaders have had a tough day.
That's right.
1st and 10 for the Warriors at their own 1-yard line. 5:41 left to play. Working out of the shotgun. Flag is down. Ball goes out of the end zone, which will be a safety.
Well, we have procedure against Brookline first, so I'm not sure if that's a dead ball. That may be a dead ball.
A flag went down. The ball went through the hands of Chamberlain. It should be a dead ball situation.
We have motion in the backfield.
And obviously, if that's the case, they want to decline it and take the 2 points and get the ball back, which is exactly what they're going to do. So now it's 29-0. That's just been the kind of day it's been.
Well, to watch the replay, I'm not sure what's going on with the snap, but for some reason, Chamberlain, which went through his hands.
It just didn't seem like he was ready, and as you said, right through his hands. $29-0. And give the Lions all the credit in the world. They were certainly the better football team here today. There you see Sergei Fed-Union, who was hurt in that first half and never did return. But you know, Alan, I started to speak to this a little earlier. This game here today takes nothing away from the great year the Warriors have had. Great group of kids. I know the coaching staff has done an outstanding job. They win the Bay State League crown, and they simply did not play well here today and take nothing away from Chelmsford because they had a lot to do with that. But a great year for Brookline.
Sometimes you're simply going to be overmatched, and there's just no other way to really describe it. And that's what we've seen here today. Brookline came out and from the opening kickoff with a big kickoff return and the first play from scrimmage, a 30-yard run right up the middle. Right from then, the tone was set by the Chelmsford Lions, and they have not let up since.
Gardy off the free kick will punt the ball from the 20-yard line. High bounce, and it's going to be fielded. This is Bilodeau, and he's not going to get away. Good coverage downfield, and a flag goes down. Robe Sully on the tackle, and they're going to call a late hit on Brookline.
McGill.
Good coverage. That was Jason Bilodeau. 5'10", 160-pound junior, and that's going to tack 15 yards onto the field position for the Lions. We still have 5:32 left to play. So now I would imagine we'll start seeing some of the second-string players for Chelmsford offensively. Matter of fact, it looks like an entire second team in there for head coach Tom Cato. Coming into today, a record of 246, 70, and 1 in 33 years of coaching in high school football. And actually, next to Armin Colombo, I mean, he's probably the biggest name in high school football coaching in the state of Massachusetts. And on first down, Bilodeau stacked up. The quarterback now is Brian Therian, as he handed off to Jason Bilodeau, who went nowhere. There's certainly plenty of other big names. John Lee comes to mind. Some of the other well-known coaches in Eastern Mass who've been at it or perhaps just recently retired over the years. But Tom Cato's a name that's well-known not only in Massachusetts but on the Eastern Seaboard, as Bilodeau is going to have this play blown dead.
That's some movement. The left side of the offensive formation for Chelmsford moved before the snap of the ball. The procedure.
So that'll march him back 5. Even if it is Chelmsford's, I should say, I'm glad the band came today. I like marching bands.
You like marching
football
bands.
games.
You've been saying that all year.
I do.
You like marching
It
bands.
just adds something to the atmosphere of a football game.
They got a big one, too.
They do. Good game. Good band. Bilodeau off the left side is only going to get a couple. Clock running as we approach 4.5 minutes to play. I want to pass our thanks along to Walter Sargent, the athletic director of Brookline, and all the people involved with the school and this football team, as well as Coach Hank Cutting and his staff and his kids. They've been great all year and have been a tremendous help. Walter, a class guy. 3rd down and 13 now. And on the option, The quarterback still with the football, and Therian able to get down to about the 30. He's going to be about 1.5 yards shy of a first down.
And again, even the second team for Chelmsford running hard, playing good football. And I think that's an indication. It's a quarterback who made that play. Watch him. He's actually hit after about a 2 or 3 yard gain. Right there, Tyrone Deal can't wrap him up. Neither can Frazier, and then finally Gotti.
And on fourth down and about 1.5 yards, they'll go for it. Fourth and about 1.5 yards, and the give. And there's big running room off the left side. This is Walsh. And Dave Walsh, just into the ball game, picks up a first down.
Like I said, sometimes in a sporting event, you're just going to be overmatched, and that's what's happened today. But I'll tell you quite frankly, I really did not think that this Brookiline team would ever be held scoreless, and that's what we're approaching right now.
The quarterback is now Andy Locapo, and brought down for a loss behind the line of scrimmage. I believe that was Adam Sullivan. They are just running like 4 backs per play in and out.
Well, again, you know, from the other side of this field, a Super Bowl is a big deal for everybody, and to have players who've been practicing hard all season and been working hard, helping out your starters, they just deserve a chance to get on the field.
Locapo, the quarterback, and he fumbles the snap, loose football, and I believe they got it back. 2:20 left in the game, loss of about 5.
Watch, this is a bad snap on this one, but
never really had it.
Even the center was alert enough to let it come back and retain possession.
There's a give to the tailback, and again, that time it's Walsh, Dave Walsh with the carry. Under 2 minutes left as you look at some long faces along the Brookline sideline. Ryan Chamberlain, the quarterback, and his teammates having a tough afternoon. But again, takes nothing away from a great season they've had. 4th and 11, and Chelmsford will go for it, and they keep it on the ground, and he's not going to get there. The ball carrier, Adam Sullivan. And Brookline will take over on downs with 1:19 remaining. So let's see what the Warriors want to do here. I would imagine Hank Cutting will also do likewise and give some of his young players a chance for a snap or two in this game.
They brought his freshman quarterback in.
Joe Mandra, number 22, is going to be in a quarterback. Who knows, he may be their quarterback as a sophomore next year. And now a timeout. There's your score, and there's Cato, Tom Cato, the Chelmsford coach, with his back to the camera.
I'll tell you, his team was thoroughly prepared from the beginning. There's no doubt about that.
Yes, they were.
In this timeout, you see the Brookline offense there. There are some backup players in, but I think, yeah, we're seeing Hank Cutting give a number of his players a chance to play.
Which is exactly what he should do. Hank's a class guy, and let's remember that 2 years ago, Alan, we know only too well, this team was 1-9.
That's right.
And here they are today.
Even last year they were 4-6. So
that's right. 4-6 last year, and today they come in at 9 up and 1 down, and they'll drop to 9-2 on the season. But they've had an outstanding season. Great group of kids, terrific coaching staff, and they work year-round now.
Oh, definitely.
These kids work out year-round, and Hank Cutting will have a rebuilding project next year, but we'll see Joe Mandra at center. 1:19 remaining, 1st and 10 at their own 15-yard line. Robe Sully, the tailback. Mandra throws it out in the flat, incomplete. Intended out there for Connor Chamberlain. A little bit short. This kid is very small, Mandra, but I know they like his arm. They think he's a pretty good athlete.
They say he has a very good arm. Like you said, he's sort of smallish, but he's only a freshman, so clearly he'll probably grow a little bit in the next couple of years.
Let's hope. Minute 16 left in the football game. Penalty on that last play sets up 1st and 5. Mandra on the delay to Sully, and he's not going to get much as the clock starts to wind down and we approach a minute remaining in the football game. I agree with you, Alan. I did not think that Brookline would get shut out by anybody, including Chelmsford, but now you see some of the emotion. Jason Smith, Howard Langham. Smith will have another chance as he's just a junior, but Mr. Langham, who's done a great job over the last 3 years in the trenches, a senior. 42 seconds left. 2nd down and 4. Flags are down, and the pass incomplete. Intended out in the right flat. And that's number 85, and we don't have an 85 on our roster.
I think it's one of the junior varsity players getting in. It's going to be legal motion against Brookline. And they just soaked Cato.
Coach Cato gets the old dousing with the Gatorade. And you know what? Right now, I don't think he felt a thing because he's just very, very happy. And good for him and his kids. Coach Cato now 3-3 in Super Bowls in his 33-year career.
Well, again, I'll reiterate, you can't come into a game much better prepared than Cato brought his Chelmsford team in. They took away everything that Brookline has been able to do all year.
And now before Brookline can get this play off, they're going to send him back to the huddle.
They're trying to clear the Chelmsford sideline.
Oh, they want to get the ice off the field is what they want to do.
After the dousing,
they need a shovel. Anybody got a shovel?
Let's watch Tom Cato.
Here's a replay for you.
He's talking to his team, and then here it comes from the back.
No, they didn't even get it over his head.
Actually,
just down his back.
It was all ice. Yeah.
Yeah, they got to get it on top of his head. And look, now the Chelmsford player's going up to help clear the field. There's the sight for you. Jason Smith. And some of the other players along the Brookline sideline. You know, there's two ways to look at this. It doesn't take anything away from the season, and there's
Walter Sargent, the athletic director for Brookline.
There's two ways to look at it. Doesn't take anything away from the season, and on top of that, I think you'd rather lose this way than lose by a point on the last play of the game. Long pass out there, incomplete. Hey, you saw the arm strength of freshman Joe Mandra. He put that ball in the air about 45 yards. Love to be able to tell you who the intended receiver was, but again, we do not have an 85 in our roster. Alvin Chin, apparently, we're told, from the truck. 4th down and 4, and they'll go for it with Sully trying the left side, and I don't think he's going to get there. Robe Sully on the carry. And Chelmsford will take over on downs with 22 seconds left, and I would expect Chelmsford to just put a knee down at this point and let the clock run out. 29-0, the Lions on top. And let's see who they'll have out there.
Well, hit the chart again. This is the 4th quarterback we've seen now. This is going to be Jim Sanford.
No, they're going back to Lacapo.
Yeah, he's going to be in the backfield.
All right. So Jim Sanford, the quarterback, and There will be a celebration along that sideline.
And a nice, happy trip home.
Great crowd on hand today
here.
here.
Very large contingent from Chelmsford come down for the Super Bowl, which you can expect. I mean, this is a big deal in terms of wrapping up a football season. The team has worked hard, winning their conference and coming in against an opponent that they were unfamiliar with. Heard a lot about Brookline's speed, but they were able to take all that away.
So Sanford, the quarterback, and he fumbles the snap. Actually just put the knee down. Looked like he fumbled, and that probably will be the last play of the football game as the clock is winding down with under 15 seconds remaining. And that'll do it. Clock winding down on the Brookline season as the Warriors will finish 9-2. But they accomplish a tremendous amount as Hank Cutting's going to bring his kids together while you look at the Lions celebrating their championship. And there's Coach Cutting with his team huddled around. Great season for Brookline. We're going to step away and come back and wrap up this Division IIA Super Bowl. Hats off to Chelmsford as they win it 29-0. We'll be back.
Today's scoring summary.
Money alone will not make a difference to the women in crisis who call Rachel's Promise. In addition to caring and commitment, to make a lasting change, a delicate balance must be achieved between support and self-sufficiency. We believe in helping people help themselves. If you have a garage, attic, or a house to clean and would like to help us help others, call 232-8136. Helping Hands is owned and operated by the Brookline Women's Shelter.
Today, we must think about preventive health care, and the Harvard Street Neighborhood Health Center can help you. To set up an appointment with a doctor, dentist, or other health care specialist at the health center, dial this number, 825-3400, or stop by. We're located at 632 Blue Hill Avenue in Dorchester. Remember, Harvard Street Neighborhood Health Center for your entire family's health care needs.
Chelmsford celebrating the Division IIA championship as they had it their way today, and you see the Division IIA champs enjoying this 29-0 win as Chelmsford has defeated Brookline. Welcome back, everybody. Rich Levine along with Alan Platt. And Alan, early on, actually the first play of the game set the tone for this one. The long run back, 2 plays later, Chelmsford's in the end zone, and before Brookline even looked up, 24 seconds, in fact, into the game, it was 7-0.
And that's exactly what happened. It set the tone of the whole thing. Coming into the game, and we talked about it earlier, that it appeared to be a matchup of Chelmsford's size and Brookline's speed. And quite frankly, Chelmsford came in here with size and speed. And those first 2 plays of the game, like you mentioned, really showed Brookline that they were going to have a tough day. And unfortunately for the Warriors, they were not able to get some of the things going that they've been able to go to all season long. Never broke away for a big play. And like I said earlier, I thought, to me, that was the key to the whole game for them. Emotionally, they had to convince themselves that if they can get a big play, they could play football with anybody. It never happened today, and we see the final score.
Yeah, a shutout, and something that you and I talked about we never expected to happen. Let's run down the scoring summary for you in this one, and it was all Lions. 10:26 of the opening quarter. Curran, a 2-yard touchdown run, 7-zip. 4:42 of quarter number 1. Curran, a 16-yard run, 14-0 Lions. Second quarter, 2:01. Dan Curran, 2-yard touchdown run, 21-0. And then with 6:06 left in the third, Curran, a 30-yard touchdown run, 27-0. And the final 2 points of the game coming on a safety off the bad snap that quarterback Ryan Chamberlain couldn't handle with 5:38 left in the fourth quarter. 29-0, the Lions win it. Some final stats for you in this one. As you can imagine, Chelmsford dominating the final statistics. Let's run down Brookline first. 52 yards rushing. Smith finished with 39. Chamberlain 3 of 8 through the air for 29 yards. As far as Chelmsford goes, they had 207 yards on the ground. 156 of those belonged to Curran. 5 of 8 passing for Brown for 93 yards. First down, 6-12 in favor of the Lions, and 21 minutes and 1 second of possession for Chelmsford, actually 22 minutes and 59 seconds for Brookline, so they actually had the ball more, but in this game it really didn't matter.
It didn't matter at all. Like I said, Chelmsford was able to take things away. Brookline with Raheem and Smith never could get untracked, like you mentioned. And to have Brookline's team with this kind of talent get less than 100 yards rushing just tells you that it just was not going to be the day. But I think even more importantly, early in the game, it was clear that Brookline's passing game was not going to be as effective as it needed to be, and because of that, Chelmsford was able to even more really focusing on both Raheem and Smith in the backfield. And as we saw, they were there at every place. And the one thing that did not happen, Smith was not able to get outside at all. And I go back to my first comment. This Chelmsford team not only was big, they were a lot faster and quicker than anyone thought they would be.
And for Mr. Curran, most of the time when he ran the football, he was 10 yards past the line of scrimmage before he even had to face a tackler.
You talk about an interesting 10 days. You go back to Thanksgiving, Curran had 6 touchdowns. He has 4 today, 10 touchdowns in 2 games within 2 weeks. So you mentioned a bunch of scouts, a bunch of recruiters from big-time colleges looking at Mr. Curran, and he's taking full advantage of his opportunity to make his choices now.
Hats off to Tom Cato and the Lions as they are the Division IIA champions of the state of Massachusetts. On the other hand, let's talk about Hank Cutting and his kids. 2 years ago, Brookline 1-9, 4-6 last year. They finish up at 9 up and 2 down this season. And really, Hank Cutting, his entire coaching staff, his entire team, great job.
Definitely, and I said it late in the game. Sometimes in sports, you're simply overmatched. There's no other way to put it. And today, Chelmsford came in, and after they got off to that good start, they got themselves pumped up. Meanwhile, Brookline was back on their heels from the opening kickoff, and it just went from there. So, I agree. Congratulations to Brookline, because when you talk about turning a program around, Hank Cutting comes in here, like you said, 1-9 a few years ago with 4-6 last year. A bit of a surprise to do so well this year, winning a couple of big games, especially the Thanksgiving game win against Newton North to get into the Super Bowl. Being here is most of the fun, believe me. Winning and losing, that's important, obviously, but being here is most important.
And on a personal note, Alan, always great to work with you. It's been a fun season alongside.
Well, it's been fun because, you know, during the year when things started out with the big Wellesley win, we thought to ourselves, well, it's too early to think about too far along. But then when they got knocked off by Walpole, we knew some things had to fall in place for the Warriors. But the key thing, and I'll give them, this is what I'll give Brookline credit for. Even when they lost to Walpole and seemed to be out of the picture, they kept about their business. They won a couple of games on the road, and then, of course, they won the big Thanksgiving game. So I think that that more than anything else impressed me. And I feel bad for the players now because as a young player, it's tough to talk to your friends and family or even to yourself about, well, how do you not score in a Super Bowl? But that's just how good Chelmsford was.
All right, that's going to wrap up a tremendous season of high school football on Cablevision 21. And I want to take a moment to thank our producer-director, Chris Larson, who not only the last 2 games, but all season long with our city broadcasts and Brookline High broadcasts has just done a yeoman's job behind the scenes. He does a great job, and I really appreciate all the help, Chris, and all the hard work on your end. We want to thank our statistician, Matt Heller. It's been a great season. He's done a terrific job. And, of course, all of the entire Cablevision 21 sports crew. These guys do a great job, and all the hard work behind the scenes that make these games possible. And I know that the town of Brookline and all the parents and friends of all the players on the team enjoy the broadcasts all season long. And believe me, it's been our pleasure to bring them to you. That's going to wrap things up for this Division IIA Super Bowl. For everybody here at the Cablevision 21 Sports Crew, your final score, it was Chelmsford 29, Brookline nothing. Have a good night, everybody.
Recovering from chemical dependency is tough enough without insurance problems. Let's face it, the early recovery process is a struggle, and unfortunately, many insurance companies just make it harder. The folks at Plans Anonymous Association can help. They've been there. They know recovery and they know insurance. They're a nonprofit membership organization dedicated to removing obstacles on the road to recovery. Give them a call. It's confidential and the call is free.
So hopefully today I can give you a little bit of knowledge about baseball that can help you not only in baseball, but help you in your life. Oh, that's it. All right. I knew you can do it. Because lack of knowledge causes fear. Now that you got the knowledge, no more fear. Turn the knee more. Boom. There you go. Boom. But right now, my dream as a ball player started right where you at right now.
Red Sox Batting Clinics, sponsored by Cablevision of Boston and Nesson. We're taking time out for our kids.
Keep the love alive, keep the will alive, keep the hope that time of you.
For the Love of Life is the first in the nation wish-granting foundation for people and their families living with the AIDS virus, meeting the human side of this pandemic.
I know that we all share the same feelings about this uninvited plague called AIDS. And we've all been personally touched. Granting the wishes of others is a beautiful thought to reflect on tonight.
We can't stop the giving. We can't stop the caring. For if we do, we could just as well stop living.
Join us in showing your love and compassion. It's easy to help us grant wishes by giving your time or donations. Keep the hope alive and believe that you can make a difference.